This podcast contains discussions about sensitive topics, including mental health, alcohol and substance use, as well as suicide. It may also include strong language. The viewpoints expressed by guests do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the hosts. Listener discretion is advised. If you or someone you know needs support, please reach out to a trusted professional or a helpline. Welcome to Twist the Throttle, the podcast where we crank open the throttle on life's toughest rides. From mental health struggles to life on two wheels. We're here to have real, raw, unscripted conversations that break the stigma and help you navigate the road ahead. So grab your helmet, hit the road with us, and remember, it's still okay to pump the brakes. Together, we're shifting gears on mental health. Here's your hosts, Ambo and the Prez.
Well, welcome back, listeners. Another week has passed, and this week we have Meerkat, or otherwise known as Nathan. Thank you very much for coming along to the podcast, Nathan.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming along, mate. We met you a couple of years ago now through an organisation we're not going to name, but does good work, and you're still involved with that organisation. Obviously, that's why we can't name them.
Yeah.
One of the guys that met us and just instantly knew this bloke's going to be a good bloke to talk to. You know, it's very hard to walk into a room full of strangers and feel comfortable, and you definitely made us feel comfortable on that day.
You two are probably the only two.
We start every podcast off with the same question, mate. What do you ride?
22 Lowrider ST.
Oh,
And that's the reason why I took one for a test ride, because they are the wickedest looking
Yeah.
bike. And I tell you right now, that is my favourite Harley of all time.
Oh, yeah.
I'm currently in the process of maybe trading in my
Oh,
bike and my wife's bike for a brand new tobacco fade ST. So
Nice.
yeah, working it out with
Go the have you seen the new one for this year? The
Diablo.
Smoke Flames?
No, have a look. Yeah, I don't do that. I finally made a decision.
So you've done customisation to your bike as well. I see you got stickers all over it of your
Yeah.
your puppy dog, and
Yeah.
lots of Jesus seen that type stickers. And-
Yeah.
You haven't actually been listening to our show, but this isn't the first time you've been mentioned. We had Brendan in from
Yeah.
Family First and telling us a bit of your story as well.
Yeah, I heard
with your
that one,
sister.
yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that was pretty cool. Like you've got the Family First stickers on your bike. I never knew what
Yeah.
that was until we had old mate in, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
Them guys are fucking great.
yeah,
Yeah, he was telling us about what he did for your sister.
Yeah.
pretty amazing
Yeah.
bloke overall.
Yeah, that was insane.
So how long you been riding, mate? What got you into it?
Been riding on the road for 8 years.
25. Did you say 25?
2025.
2025.
Yeah.
How old are you?
31.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's fucking 25.
Yeah, no.
He's like, no, he's young, but not that young.
Nah, I was like, what year are you in again?
So what got you?
Yeah.
What first got you into riding? Did you ride dirt or straight on the road?
So I grew up riding dirt bikes from the age of 14-ish. Just, always wanted to get onto the road, and would have done a lot earlier, but I
Yeah.
made the stupid decision when I was 17 of going, oh, fuck, if I move out of home,
Yeah,
Mum can't tell me what to do.
Yeah, exactly.
And then I couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
So do you remember your first bike? Is this your first bike?
No, so first bike on the road was 2017 Street 500.
Oh, nice. So always been on the cruisers, not a sports bike nut.
Yeah, no, you seen how long my legs are?
Yeah, true.
I look a bit funny on my sports bike. But,
I am in the room with two of the tallest men I know.
Straight
so
up.
do you ride for fun, or is it more of a headspacey type thing? What do you?
Bit of both.
Yeah.
Probably more like dirt. Motorcycles, even riding dirt bikes, was always my escape. Back in high school, I was quite, you wouldn't think it now, but quite shy and reserved. Every day after school, lived on 5 acres, so I'd pretty much get home, have something to eat, smash down a couple of pies,
Yeah.
get
that's it.
changed, and go out riding until dark. And then Saturday, Sunday, every weekend, it was just out on the bike, even if it was on my own, from
Yeah,
morning
that's
till
awesome.
dark, or going, watch my brother-in-law at the races or something like that.
Yeah. So you still got a dirt bike? No.
No, I haven't had one for years since I moved to Melbourne.
Yeah, right.
Back.
Well, you would get back into it though, yeah.
Oh yeah,
Plenty of nice bush riding around here.
Yeah,
And you're down on the doorstep of it all too.
yeah,
Yeah, the sandy stuff down there in the Otways. It's it's
Yeah.
good riding down there.
yeah.
Yeah.
No, if I had money, I definitely would.
Yeah.
So speaking of money, if money was no object, what would be your dream bike?
Always wanted a Dyno Street Mob.
Yeah.
That's probably the Dyno bro in me.
Yeah.
But, that's probably always been one of my dream bikes, and ever since I was a kid, I always loved like the custom choppers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
grew up watching
Orange County.
Orange County, American Chopper, all that stuff. So
Yeah, Paul Senior, I love it how he throws
yeah.
chairs through walls and stuff, and great. And then Paul Junior,
I always liked Jesse James's bikes because he used to
Oh,
they're cool too.
West Coast choppers.
I reckon he's one of the better ones.
Yeah, now he's married to Bonnie Rotten, and I still want to be Jesse James.
Yeah, me too.
So going into your early years, you're the youngest of six siblings, yeah?
Yeah.
Boys and girls, or
3 older sisters, 1 older brother, and then 1 twin brother who's, 1 minute older than me.
Yeah.
So you're the youngest of the youngest.
Yeah.
So who's the good looking one?
Oh, me for sure.
Yeah.
You made mention that your mum was single back then.
Yeah.
Brought all 6 of you up.
Yeah. So she was a single mum for the first few years. She moved back to Australia from England when she was pregnant with myself and my twin brother to escape domestic violence.
Yeah.
And she was a single mum for probably about the first, at least, I think 7 or 8 years of my life. And she did all right.
Yeah. Can't complain, Mum. Well done. At least until you hit 17 and went, that's enough.
Must be must be pretty hard with 6 kids bringing them up by yourself. Yeah.
100%.
I'm a single dad. I brought up my 2 since the young Ezzy was in school, so 5-year-old. Yeah, it's not easy.
Yeah, and I wasn't the easiest child either.
Oh no, I don't think any of us were.
It's
We just had a good pre-recording chat about possible ADHD and other things going on. Someone who's known you for a while now, mate. I think it's probably worth going to get tested, just saying.
Yeah, probably should.
Yeah.
One day.
Yeah.
So you made mention of a host family or a respite family when you were around the age of 4?
Yeah, so when I was real young, I would have been, around about the age of 4, probably maybe a bit younger, 3, 4 years old, I was diagnosed with high-functioning autism. In saying that, my mum sort of went to different doctors and was like, this is what he has.
Waiting for the...
I'm not taking no for an answer until she finally found a doctor that said,
okay,
which,
he's got that.
I guess, I can't blame her, raising 6 kids and knowing there's something there. And so then through an organisation that was called, I don't know if it's still around or if it's still called the same thing, it was called Interchange over in South Australia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I had what they call like a host family or respite family. So I met them when I was 4, started going there on the farm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Most weekends, long weekends.
Give my mum a bit
part
of a break.
School holidays. Yeah. Give me a bit of a break and mum a bit of a break.
Yeah.
And
brother the same or?
No, it was just me.
Just the lucky one,
yeah. It was actually, it's insane to think about it because it was put me on like, I don't know where I'd be without it.
Yeah.
I always tell people, I half grew up in the country for that reason.
Yeah.
It's, taught me what true hard work is.
Yeah.
That experience of, working on farms.
My experience working on farms made me who I am as well.
Yeah.
I remember my dad's cousin's husband smacked me on the back of the head because I double dipped the fucking butter in the bread when I was buttering the bread, things like that.
Yeah.
And like teaching, said, can you drive? And I went, yeah, I can drive. Jump in the car and drive it around the block on a farm at age 10 or 12 and get to the dairy factory where they milk the cows, and he smacked me on the back of the head. Don't you know how to change gear? And
well, they I think they got me my first push bike, taught me how to ride, and then eventually got the ride-on lawnmower out, took the blades off it, and went, here's the keys. And I just spent days, like every time I was there, I'd spend the whole day just doing laps in the driveway, going around, and then ran over one of my friends.
Accidentally?
Apparently not. I don't remember it at all, but apparently they thought, we'll get him a friend. We'll have some friends come over. They've got a little boy the same age and whatnot. And apparently I was pissed myself laughing and ran him over. So I don't remember it at all.
Of course not, no. We don't want to go too heavy too quick, mate, but you mentioned, your mum left England to get away from your dad pretty much. The story of your dad's a bit full on. We got some warnings at the start of the show for this exact reason. So you found out your dad, not a great bloke. How did that affect your identity growing up?
Yeah, so he always knew who he was.
Yeah.
Seen pictures of him, never met him. He was a nice person. Growing up, always definitely knew too much too early.
Yeah.
And sort of also, knowing that out of all us kids, you were wanted, you were a result of assault,
Yeah.
and so on and so on.
Not very nice to be pointed out.
Nah, so growing up, never really felt wanted and whatnot. So that sort of affected me in that way. Also, knowing, I guess, who he was, knowing too much too early when I wasn't obviously old enough to process it.
Yeah.
That always had that fear in me for even into my early adulthood, where I was like worried about having
Those
traits of him.
tendencies and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, even and it did affect me obviously quite heavily for a long time. Even, first time when I was 17, 18, fucking having intercourse.
Yeah.
Refused to go on top.
Yeah.
Like that sort of thing.
Yeah.
And even now, like, I'm big on consent with just even just general, touching someone in general. Like, it's
pretty full on. A lot of it, the argument of nature versus nurture, like how much of it's inherent, how much of it's learned behavior.
Yeah, 100%.
And obviously you've consciously made that decision to go the other way.
Yeah.
So, which is fantastic.
Yeah, so it's probably been a good thing in that way, like that positive side of it, as well as other things. But yeah.
So you mentioned as well around 4 or 5, you were assaulted yourself.
Yeah. So 4 or 5, I was sexually assaulted by a friend of older sibling.
Was that in Australia? Or?
Yeah. So I was born in Australia.
Yeah.
All that. A friend of an older sibling, which obviously that
messed you up.
Yeah.
That whole losing trust.
Yeah, and that definitely caused a lot of my issues, like anger outbursts, all that sort of stuff when I was growing up and as a kid, and even it still affects me to this day, even though I've dealt with it for the most part. Probably always will in some way.
Oh, probably. It's not an easy thing to move past.
Nah.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest part of it's no one in my family knew. Like, I didn't open up to, no one at all. Like, kept it to myself.
So your mum met a bloke, stepdad, they ended up being heavy drinkers. Did that change your attitude towards alcohol early on?
Yeah, definitely. So when they first sort of got together and all that, like, they actually, they met, become friends first and whatnot. I've struggled to even actually remember not knowing him or not having him in my life in some way, even friends. And when they first got together, like, they were great. Yeah.
How old were you at that time?
I would have been, I reckon I might have been like around the 8, 9 mark. And he was incredible. Like, he was, me and him had a really good bond. We'd hang out. Used to help him. He had a 54 Chev.
Oh, nice.
Restoring that, helped him on that all the time. And if I had my outburst, I'd take off running up the street and run away, hide. For some reason, he knew where to find me.
Yeah.
And then we'd just sit there waiting, not pressuring me to come out. Eventually I'd come out, we'd sit there and chat and then walk back down. And
for you to be the man that you really need to be,
Yeah.
Somebody you can look up to. It's good.
Yeah. And, like...
So besides the drinking, positive influence?
At that stage, At that stage, and then things just sort of seemed to change as the years progressed. Sort of, I guess, family got more... Family was always sort of a fair amount of conflict.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. Older siblings going in and coming back and all that sort of stuff, walking away, as well as the rest of the family. Lost my nana on my mum's side when I was 5 years old. After that, we lost contact with my granddad. Bit of a dispute between him and my mum, and then her sister and brother. So my auntie and uncle as well, lost contact with them through it all. Obviously, don't know what happened. It's not really my problem.
Too many years past to bring it up now.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
So then the drinking progressed, and they eventually just sort of just got worse. Yeah, pretty much cut contact with them a few years ago.
Yeah.
After copping abuse from them, and especially from stepdad, which I don't even know what it was all about, really. Yeah. All that part of it.
Yeah. They're still together as far as you know.
Yeah, still together, still alive and kicking, as far as I know. But it is what it is. It fucking wasn't always bad.
Yeah,
it wasn't always good.
So thinking back then, did you talk to your friends and your mates or your family about what was going on?
I struggled. I spoke to people like in regards to with parents and that. Talking to them.
What anything in your life that was going on?
So,
who was your person?
Yeah, who was your person back then? Were you keeping it all to yourself?
So I always, especially as a kid, I always kept things to myself, like everything a lot. Didn't really open up, didn't talk, just sort of bottled it all up and then obviously explode one person, like when the abuse happened when I was a kid. So it was a friend of one of my older sisters and that. We were in a room and whatnot, and it was like middle of the night, and I freaked out, got up, ran, or sort of got up and, quietly
Took on.
took off.
Mhm.
And then I ran to my sister that I'm close with now, ran to her for safety, jumped in her bed, hid under the covers, and she was like, what's going on and that. And I'll see, like I was 4 or 5 years old.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say, this person did this.
Yeah.
I was just terrified.
Yeah, just sort of,
And I just said I had a bad dream. And she was like, what was it about? And I just said, spiders. And that was it. Like, never spoke about it, never. I don't think it ever happened again after that. I can't really remember because that sort of stuff you'd like. But so even back then, that sister, she was my, I guess, safe space. She was the one, and I only spoke to her about it mid last year, late part. Yeah. Last year, I sort of finally opened up to her about it and let her know, and she was the first and still the only person in my whole family that I've ever told.
Yeah.
And I asked her if she remembered that night, and she was sort of like, oh, sort of.
Yeah.
But one thing I found was actually interesting when I was talking to a counsellor about it a few years ago, which was the first time I ever even spoke to a counsellor about it, because it was after I gave up drinking and whatnot, after having a problem with that. And she actually said that for some reason, nobody knows why, but a lot of children, especially ones that have been abused, associate adult body parts, like genitals and that sort of stuff, with spiders.
Oh, wow.
So they'll say spiders or spider web, referring to them. They don't know why.
That's crazy. So how long have you been sober?
So last weekend of 2019 in October was the last time I
had a drink.
I had a big drink. Like I drink now, but after that I sort of went up. This weekend's the last weekend. I'm gonna
wipe yourself out.
Yeah, and I'll wipe myself out. 12:30 at night. I went down in the driveway.
Oh shit!
Had a party and hit the ground, and so it was a big weekend for the last one, and then I just sort of went nut, just been cold turkey.
Yeah. So you can have a social drink now, but not a
So it probably took a couple years, and then I sort of finally all right, well now I can start in the right setting. And the first time, few times it was like, all right, well, I'll do it with this set of people because I know that I can trust them. One of the first times I went out after deciding to give up drinking, like I said to a small group of friends, I said, do not let me have a drink no matter what.
Yeah.
I don't care what I do, what I say, do not let me have a drink.
Mm-hmm.
And someone come up and handed me a glass of whiskey because we were doing a taste. And one of them ran and grabbed it out of my hand, and I didn't abuse him, but I cracked his shits a bit.
I was like, I nearly had it.
I was like, nah, just one, I'll be fine. Nah, remember what you said? And I was like, oh, well, fine, but fuck you.
That's my sober journey. I've been 3 years now, and I don't have a drop because I don't want to open that door again. Like, if I don't, a mate of mine who's been on the show, Fafo, was he says, it takes more strength to have one than it does to not drink at all. And I'm like, but why would I open the door?
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, like I know that's a problem for me, so I don't want to even entertain it at all.
And it is a struggle at times. Like I've had times when I've sort of gone out on a night out and gone, I'll just have a few light drinks.
Yeah, the Australian culture makes it very hard to not be.
Come home from work on a hot day and
not even that, mate. But just going out, like imagine your Adelaide trips would be like everyone, get on again. Like everyone tries to have a let the shackles off, as you say. Yeah, I can imagine that's.
But people look at you sideways when you go, no, I don't drink. That's Like some people go, what? What do you mean?
Yeah, I don't understand.
And I've even said to people as well, like in some ways, I think alcohol is worse than any other drug.
Yeah.
Simply because you can say to someone every single night, "What are you doing tonight?" I'm going to go home and have a 6-pack.
Yeah.
I'm going to go home and have a beer every night.
You can buy it anywhere.
Yeah.
You can walk into the supermarket.
And it's just the norm. Like, what are you doing this weekend? Every weekend you're going to go, I'm going to go and get hammered.
Yeah. Well, you tell people you got blackout drunk and like, oh, yeah, what did you do? Like,
you say to someone,
fuck, that could be a problem, dude.
Exactly.
Whereas if you are out working or wherever, I mean, I can't wait to get home and smoke some weed or can't wait to get home and do some lines or just get high.
Whatever.
They go, what the?
What's wrong with you, mate?
What's wrong with you?
What do you need that shit for?
Yeah. But then it's like, I'm going to go home and get drunk every night.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, cool, good on you.
Yeah, have fun.
Just
Yeah, it's socially acceptable, but reality
Yeah.
is domestic violence is huge because of alcohol.
Yeah.
There's a lot that goes into alcohol. There's
like all the health differences. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not sober. Let's just say that, but I don't drink to excess. I might have a beer while I cook.
Yeah.
Half
Yep.
beer.
Yeah.
And I used to drink myself fucking stupid on Friday and Saturday nights.
Yeah.
And then because I worked driving trucks, I never drunk at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And one of the times I went into the doctor and I had like yellow eyes because I would drink like a whole bottle of fucking whatever.
Yeah.
And the doctor said, "Do you drink?" And I said, "No, I just drink on the weekends." And he says, "Oh, how much do you drink?" And he said, "Mate, you're fucking drinking 2 bottles of alcohol over your liver is fucking just recovering by the time you get to fucking Friday. It's recovered and you fucking do it again."
Yeah. Well, I don't know how I didn't end up doing damage to myself. Like, because for a few years there, it was every single night like a bottle of whiskey, or I'd go get 2 6
I come to your
packs
birthday
and
party
smash
and I
it
watched you
down.
fucking smash a bottle of, I can't remember what you were drinking.
Yeah, I was drinking a bottle of Bundy before we even went out.
Yeah, I know. That's correct.
I've got like 3/4 way out and I was still smashing Bundies away out. And then someone gave me a shot of Fireball. And I didn't get home till 7:30 in the morning. I think 8 o'clock actually.
Jesus.
But yeah, like I used to every night just either a bottle of whiskey or I'd go get 2 6-pack and I'd smash those down in like within an hour and a half.
Yeah.
And I lived for a while there. I lived 5 doors up from Butler.
So congratulations on being sober and getting your life together.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, not completely sober, but
yeah.
being a bit smarter about it. Yeah.
Yeah, and it took a couple of years, and now I can I still have those, obviously the demons are there.
Yeah, of course.
But it's just a matter of managing them. And some people, obviously, as you said, Jeff, you can't. It's straight up, zero.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am at. Like, I was drinking 10 Mercury cans. I was drinking 10 of them a night.
Yeah.
Every night. Like it's 20 standard drinks.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
And I was like, that was just, and I wasn't pissed. I was just sitting on the couch. That was just throwing them back. Yeah, that was just a normal night.
Yeah.
And I think the biggest thing about stopping drinking was like, fuck, I've got so much money. Well, how come there's still fucking $300 in the
I look at people.
Yeah.
I look at people that smoke, and I know how much packets of smoke cost these days. So it's just like a massive burden. Like if
100%.
you're week to week type money in the bank, it's a big burden.
It's easy to spend $200-300 a week on it.
Oh, it's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know how people are managing to do it.
Saw a bloke one time was talking about smokes. He goes, like I've never smoked. Yeah, like and he's got like you smoke, you spend this much every week.
Oh, yeah.
You could buy a Ferrari. It's like, you don't smoke. Where's your fucking Ferrari?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
We find shit to blow our money on. I've made I've made $5,000 a week. I've made $500 a week. I'm still broke at the end of the week. Got nicer shit.
So easy,
probably 8 nicer. Yeah.
Yeah. Instead of going to Macca's, you go to like
restaurant.
Steak,
you get a Nando's
burger.
So going back to school life for you, mate, were you a popular kid? You get you kept to yourself. So
I was very much I was the type of kid where I'd walk around just looking at the ground, looking at my feet.
You weren't just going looking for trouble. Trouble didn't find you.
Definitely not seeking out trouble. Although the teachers thought I did. Just always
Were you bullied?
Probably not as extreme as what some people are, but I was always targeted. Like it was just
because you were the easy target.
Yeah, like someone would look at me the wrong way and I'd flip. Someone would just say one little thing to stir me up, I'd flip. And it didn't matter how much older they were. Like I remember I would have been in grade 2, and there was some grade 7s, and they did the old, So it was still primary school and whatnot. Grade 7s decided to take our footy because. One of the few times I was in the air, we were playing footy. And just because they just started, the other kids were, can we have our ball back? Me being me, I just, give us back a fucking ball. And before I knew it, I had 3 or 4 around me. And one of them picked me up by the back of the jumper and dropped me face first into the oval 5 or 6 times, just repeatedly. Slam. And then I got up. And I think that was the only time I ever actually went to the teacher about anything. And it was only because I went to class, she noticed I'd been crying, my face was all bright red. I told her and she went, maybe just walk around with me for a while at lunchtime. And I went, absolutely not.
That'll get me beat up worse.
Pretty much. So I just, eventually moved on from from that incident anyway. And
Yeah. So you said you got into a few fights and stuff at school?
every week.
Yeah.
At school. Yeah. And again, it was just like, I'll admit, like back then, it was a lot of it didn't need the reaction I gave,
Yeah.
but it was just, I was obviously,
So that was more frustration or just not being able to express yourself more?
Pretty much, yeah. Like just no idea how to regulate my own emotions and express myself, as well as outside stresses and being anxious and shy all the time, and just having that, I guess, that anger. Like it was, just slam one kid head first into a steel pole on the playground.
Wow.
Because he tried to pull me off the top of the monkey bars, and then I kicked him in the face. He left, and then he happened to look at me the wrong way as he walked back past me when I got down.
So,
like, extreme.
Obviously, you don't do that now.
Nah, I've calmed down once.
So, but at 14, bikes become a big part of your life. Do you remember the first bike you had?
Oh, so the first...
What was your first bike? Not the first bike you rode. What was the first one you actually owned? And
so the first one I actually owned was a Chinese branded Zongshen.
Oh, yeah.
250 quad bike. It was actually kind of funny because,
it's too many wheels, man. What's going on?
I know. So I got used to that. Cooked the engine in it because,
Chinese bike.
Typical kid just not checking the oil.
And then you're supposed to do that?
Yeah, apparently that's what they told me.
That's why you got an ambo.
You're good with the tools?
Yeah.
That's
good.
Yeah,
I know how to
fix a few things.
Do a few things. You'll either fuck it or fix it, or you'll... But then after that, I think I went to the pit bike first, a 125 pit bike, and then after that got an old 1975 model
scrambler type thing,
like a trials bike. It was a TY 175.
Okay, yeah.
And that was good fun. Although that would have hurt because the left hand side cover on the engine was missing, so you get the flywheel and you smack your knee on it. But that was a good bike. And then after that, went to a 94 RM 250.
Yeah, cool. That's a big bike too.
Yeah, and then went up to YZ 426. I think it was 2006.
Yeah, I had one of those.
So that's where you love
WR 426.
So your love of horsepower started on dirt.
Yeah. And then it just grew from there. Like that was, and then for a few years I didn't have any bike, and I just
itching.
Yeah, it was probably the worst years of my life. Nah, it was just always missed it.
So what does riding do for you mentally that nothing else does?
Definitely keeps me calm and just lets me zone out.
Yeah.
But you've also got a lot of stuff going on as well, and that helps your brain.
Yeah. Like you got to watch everything, and obviously just you get on the bike and it's just a good outlet.
All the unimportant stuff goes away.
Yeah. And even just process things because, get on a nice quiet freeway or a back road and just process things, think about it.
We mentioned earlier, I made the ADHD joke, but on a bike, I don't think I've ever wandered off in my mind, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because there's just too much that you've got to pay attention to, and that's that mindfulness, fantastic for me.
I still wander off. I've fallen asleep on the bike, so I wandered off.
Haven't gone that far yet. Yeah, that's cool. So in 2015, you came close to taking your own life. What pulled you back at that point?
Yeah, so I sort of went down just a bunch of obviously things just bottling up over the whole process of life, and then it was a bit weird in a way because no one knew. So I started heading down the road again of like abusing painkillers like endone, codeine, Nurofen Plus. But then at this particular time, like I'd started going to the gym. So I was going to the gym 4 or 5 days a week, eating really healthy. And sort of everyone was like, he's getting, he's healthy. He's on the right track.
Yeah.
And then I just, like even then, so at that time, I'd get home from work, I'd eat, shower, whatever, go to the gym, come home, eat painkillers.
Yeah. So what you were stuck in a loop. You just didn't like what was going on in your life at the time, or you were struggling with something.
And just I've always held on to a lot of self-hate and self-resentment, and everything. No matter what goes wrong, 9 times out of 10, I direct it to myself.
So but you weren't talking at this time. You weren't talking to people again. You were keeping it to yourself.
No one knew at all ever. When I was at those stages, and then it got to one night where I was living in a shared house with 2 other people. So I actually sat down in my room in bed and basically sort of tied a knot, and I wrote that. I was I've got nothing hanging from. I'll just make sure I can't untie it myself. And then
So you had
Obviously,
you had the plan.
yeah, put it
Yeah.
on, pulled it tight, not thinking I'd be able to get it off. And then at the last minute, just I sort of started going,
Hang on.
yeah, it was getting a bit, yeah, it was having its effect, so to
Yeah.
speak. It just sort of hit me, I guess, where I was like, yeah, I've got nieces, I've got nephews, I've got family there.
Think about the people it's going to hurt too.
Yeah, and it was like, I know that people would have blamed themselves. And I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, my sister that I mentioned, I'm close with, I was like,
Yeah.
she's going to just blame herself. Like, I can't do this to them.
It's
Yeah.
good. The mind works in wonderful ways sometimes.
Yeah.
You've got the
So-
semicolon tattooed on your cheek.
Yeah.
It was one of the biggest statements. I think it was one of the first conversations you and I ever had.
Yeah.
Was like,
It
I sort of fucking love that. That's a conversation starter.
I get so
no
many mixed
doubt.
reactions from
Yeah,
it.
no, look, like it's a bold statement.
Oh, yeah.
There's no hiding what it means and everything.
Yeah.
People who know what it means know what it means.
Yeah. And a lot of people think it's a teardrop, and then when I sort of explain to them,
Yeah.
it's a teardrop, some people listen, some people go, oh, nah. And it's like, I don't care.
Yeah.
That's looking at my face. Like,
So yeah,
It's not for-
you're
it's
willing
not
to
for
share
you.
share it here, your abbreviation on the.
yeah. So semicolon. I got it on my face. I was thinking about it for years, and like
Yeah.
so many people, almost everyone, I think, was like, "Nah, it's stupid. Don't do it. Don't do it."
I love it too.
And then,
I think it's
yeah,
when the meaning behind it, you'll understand why it looks.
yeah. And like one day, it was a bit. But the day I got it done was a bit random.
Yeah.
I was like, you know what? I wake up and went, I'm gonna get it done. And
Yeah.
I actually walked around. I went to just about must have been every tattoo shop, like tattooist in Melbourne City.
Yeah.
No one would do it. There was a couple people that were like, oh, we will tattoo your face, but we've got to do a heap of your other work first. Quite a few were like, no, we won't do it.
Oh, wow.
And then I was in the end, I just back out. I'm like, you know what, I'm done for the day.
Yeah.
And then there was one other one on the way home in High Point. And I was like, you know what?
And they're like, yeah, fuck it, whatever.
Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, I gave him a call first and I was like, yeah, this is what I want.
Yeah.
And chick on the phone was like, all right, let me go speak to
The artist.
one guy. He's got one artist here. He's got a tattoo on his face himself.
Mhm.
I'll go speak to him. And yeah, he was like, yeah, come in, I'm keen.
Yeah, beautiful.
And he was stoked to do it. But yeah, it was just sort of a daily reminder whenever I look in the mirror and that to myself.
So what would you say to somebody who's in a dark place, like similar to where you were back then?
I mean, typical response to that is normally, obviously, talk to someone, open up, seek help.
Not always an option. You don't always have that person you
Yeah.
trust to talk to, which was
Yeah.
your case, obviously.
Yeah, so you weren't very talkative to other people, so
Yeah, and I've always been very closed off when it comes to talking about my own issues. And it's not, I wouldn't say it's because I feel like a burden. It's just, I try and, I guess, well, I know that it stems from growing up.
Yep.
Being sort of, I guess, having to sort my own shit out.
yeah. So thinking back then, what
but-
do you think you could have done in that moment?
If I could give anyone or even myself advice back then would be just try and be honest with yourself. Like, I was lucky enough that I sort of reached a point where I was like, no, I've got to get out of this. I've got to pull myself out of it. And even then I managed to luckily pull myself out of it without anybody even knowing. But yeah, just, I guess first thing is just fucking talk to yourself.
Yeah.
Even, write it down on a piece of paper first.
Yeah, I
just
like that.
be honest with
write
yourself.
it down, put it down on paper and give it to somebody.
Yeah, give it to someone. Even, like, I know I've done it in the past with just different things, when just write it down on a piece of paper, start writing, whether you write it 2 sentences, a page, 2 pages, 4 pages.
Screw it
Even
up.
if you
screw
it up, burn it, throw it in the bin, tear it
I've
up.
done similar, yeah.
Yeah, like even that.
Get it out of your head.
Yeah, and then when you sort of gives you that sensation of like destroying it because you're tearing it up and takes that frustration out of you and gets it out of your own head. And
But you got helplines as well. Have you ever used any of the helplines?
yeah, so I've used Beyond Blue helpline, their helpline.
Yep.
They're probably the main one I've used and found helpful and quickest to get through
Yep.
myself. At one stage, I think every night I was calling them.
Yep.
A few years ago, just every night for probably at least a week or 2.
And they were always there. They never turned you down.
Yeah, no, always turn me down. And it didn't, like, obviously they've got to get through as quick as they can
Yeah, of course.
to get onto other calls, but they never made me feel rushed.
Yeah.
Like, it was never like, all right, that's enough. Go. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was,
We've given you what you need. Now, get on with it.
yeah, it was like, is there anything else you want to talk about or all that? Even another big thing is like, if you suspect that you've got other things there, like if it's, anxiety, depression, or even if you think you've got, like for me with the bipolar side of things, I knew for years that I had something other than just anxiety and
Yeah.
depression. I didn't know what it was. I actually thought for a while there, I was like Googling, like, split personality and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. And I was like, that's not me.
Yep.
I'm like, I'm always the same person.
So they were there helping you through it? They were helping you, giving you ideas and like making...
No, so I never spoke to Beyond Blue in regards to that. At the time, I went to a couple GPs and I sort of went and saw a counsellor, and for a while there, I was like, I want to be assessed for bipolar.
So you were misdiagnosed as a kid as high-functioning autistic.
Yeah.
And then in 2018, you were diagnosed type 2 bipolar.
Yeah, and even that was like, I had to go through a couple different...
Did that make sense, that diagnosis to you?
100%.
With all your research you'd done and everything else?
Yeah, so I actually found out through talking to someone that had it, and I was talking to him, and we were talking...
Like, dude, you're me.
Yeah, he was like, you sound exactly like me. And then one of the guys I worked with at the time, he got diagnosed with bipolar. So I actually went to GP. I said, I found out what psychiatrist he was seeing.
Yeah.
I said, I want a referral to him. I want to be assessed. Because every GP before that was, it's a bit of a process and this and that.
Of course.
I had one session with him. So probably a couple months or so before seeing him, I just...
Psychiatrist, psychologist?
Psychiatrists. So psychiatrists are the ones that do medication and can actually make diagnosis.
Yeah.
I was also seeing a psychologist as well. I pretty much every day for a couple of months, I was just recording my mood changes. And on a bad day, they'd go every half hour.
Wow.
I'd wake up spacey in the morning.
Yeah.
And then, I could be calm, collected, and switched on. And then half hour to an hour later, it'd just switch all of a sudden. I'd either be like extremely anxious and shaky and unable to stand still or sit still, or I'd be like just hypermania, like just bouncing off the walls, unable to focus on one thing, and I'd forget everything. Like you'd tell me, like there was one morning there I was working in telecommunications, and one of the guys said, we're heading out to Geelong from Melbourne, and I just did the usual, load up topsoil, crushed rock in the tipper, and just grab that roll of cable. Yeah, no worries. Load up the tipper, jumped in, come all the way down to Geelong. Where's the cable? What cable? And it just switched. Like I'd go from that to extremely anxious or hypermania to just depressed and exhausted and just no energy. And then all of a sudden it'd change again.
Yeah, like a roller coaster.
Yeah. And then on a good day, that'd be every 2-3 hours.
Right. So then they got the medication right at some point?
Yeah. So... when I went and saw, because I was recording it all, I showed it to the psychiatrist. I said,
this is what I'm feeling.
This is everything. And he went, oh, yeah, that's type 2 bipolar.
Okay.
And he was good. Like he put me on medication and whatnot.
Oh, so he wasn't giving me medication at that point. Then,
no.
So you went down and you went, well, this is all my moods over the day.
Yeah.
And he's gone, right, this is what it is. And then you got medicated.
Yeah.
Good.
And then I was going back.
For the uneducated, what's the difference between bipolar and type 2?
So type 1 and type 2, pretty much type 1 seems to be more, you get the manic, extreme manic, and they last longer. Whereas type 2, you get more hypermania, which isn't as extreme.
Yeah.
So it's just...
So rather than have extreme highs, extreme lows, you just bounced in between really quickly.
Yeah. So like the manic itself, people think that they're invincible and superheroes and just do crazy stuff. I've spoken to someone. I go to a support group maybe now once a month in Geelong, run through bipolar life, and there's people there. One of the people there, they brought a house.
Yeah,
they had a manic episode, didn't have the money. They just went and brought a house, and then afterwards they're like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this.
Yeah.
Another person there, which is quite funny. She went and brought like 5 snakes.
Wow.
And then
never had a snake before in her life. Just
went, I love snakes. Went and brought 5 of them. Then when she come down, I was like,
what the fuck do I do with these snakes?
Yeah. So she kept 1 or 2 of them and managed to rehome the rest. But it was just like, all right, like, I was bad. I'll go clothes shopping.
So it made sense pretty much straight away when they got diagnosed with type 2.
Yeah. And it was like quite a few people go through the negative side of it, like, I've got bipolar.
Okay, the world's closing in on me.
Yeah, like why me? Sort of how did this happen?
Yeah, it's a big problem, I think, with especially people who are older, like myself and you, who get diagnosed later in life, not letting that become your personality. Like, I feel really shit because I've done so much research now on ADHD, and so much of what I thought was my personality growing up is like symptoms. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm like, and I try and explain that to people, and I feel like I'm fucking talking about this too much now.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not trying to blame that. I'm just like, for me, it's like fucking the light shining on it for the first time. I'm like, holy shit, I understand my brain a bit better now. And that's that's a hard world to navigate.
Yeah, exactly like that. I was like relieved because I was like, finally, I've got answers.
Yeah.
I can work on, I can, do whatever I need to do. And I've got a pathway to go.
How fast acting was your medication?
Pretty fast. First medication I went on was Seroquel, and it was good. Like, it helped a lot. I was a zombie the next next day. Like, I'd take it, and I'd take it about an hour or so after taking it. I'd just be like, I'd just feel high.
Yep. Yeah.
And then about an hour after that, I'd be like full dozing off, but then my legs and arms would twitch real badly, so I wouldn't actually sleep. And then, another hour after that, so 2 or 3 hours later, I'd just be passed out and wouldn't remember getting up and going to bed. Even one night I was at someone else's house, passed out on the couch, like just fell asleep on the couch. Didn't remember.
Yeah.
I didn't drive. Someone else was driving. My partner at the time, luckily. But the only part of leaving there, getting home and going to bed, I remember was sitting in the car freezing cold because it was the middle of winter. I had a t-shirt on.
Yeah.
Like it was.
Yeah.
And some people do say it and they're okay with it. Like they'll go, I'm bipolar.
Yeah.
Yep.
I hate it personally.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, well, I'm not. I have it.
Yeah. That's not who I am.
Like I have it. It doesn't have me.
Yeah.
Like it's.
So my sister has bipolar. Do you find that she has a problem? She starts taking medication. Well, she used to. I don't know. I don't really speak to her because it's easier not to. Thanks, I'm in bed. But anyway, she would have her medicine and then feel like, okay, I'm fucking good now, and then stop taking it.
Yeah.
So
I've done that.
Yeah,
many times.
my ex-wife, hey Nat, not hanging shit on you, just talking about a bit of life here.
Yeah.
Her peaks of happiness, like the manic happy, was scarier to me because I knew what was coming next.
Like
it was like, she's like, oh, let's go do this, and I'm like, oh fuck, like tomorrow's gonna suck.
And a lot of people like that, like as a family member, friend, partner.
Yeah.
So many people.
Yeah, you get real gun shy real quick.
And even as someone with it, like I know when I get manic, I'm like, oh, I love it. Like I will try and make it as long as possible.
Well, that's the height that people chase with drugs and stuff, isn't it?
I'll be like, oh, cool. I'm manic. I'm going through hypomania. I'll just keep doing things so that way, because I know as soon as I'll stop and sit down, that's when I'm going to crash. But then after, like, it's just I don't remember half the stuff I did. Yeah, and there's all these half-finished tasks.
That's what I've found with like the research I've done and all the everything I've read up about like ADHD and stuff like that. Your brain in those moments needs. I'm not a doctor. There's a chemical your brain needs to store memory. And your brain's not making it in those moments. It's not a case of like you can't remember because you don't care or anything like that. Your brain literally didn't process it. It was just like, let's fucking go. Let's go do these crazy things. And you're like, let's go.
No logic behind it.
Yeah, and then you get to the end of it, you're like, how the fuck where am I? What's going on? Like, I get that for sure.
Yeah, and there's times when, being hypomania, because I'm a shit stirrer in general, where I've
pushed too hard
a bit too hard, and then someone's got frustrated and flipped their shit or whatever, and then
next time you see him, you're like, hey, how you going? Like, fuck you. Like, hang on a minute. Like, what's going on? Like,
when I first got diagnosed, the relationship I was in, I'd do that, like, just shit stare, and then she'd get the shits, and she's always having the shits. But anyway, and then I'd be like, what'd I do? Like, I wouldn't be aware of what I was doing and how far I was going.
Yeah.
And then I'd just crash.
Yeah.
But the medication side of things, it's off. I'm hopeless at. It's so hard to remember to take it every day, and especially when you're feeling good.
You've got a terrible memory, so take this pill at the same time every single day.
I literally I keep it on the kitchen counter.
Yeah,
right next to where I put my keys.
As
soon as it's not there,
it's
just. Or if I go away somewhere, it's just I have to put it in a spot where I'm going to look.
I've actually got my medication like a tablet in the car, a tablet on my bike.
Yeah.
Like if I get somewhere, I'm like, fuck, I think I've got a spare backup. Like, and then like, I've got it like written on my hand, like replace the backup. Like, so like when I get home,
so it's not, something that if you missed your medication, you get sick and you can't.
No, it's not sick, but you can't. Depending on what dosage you're on and stuff like that,
you can mistakenly double up on it.
I've done that. Yeah, I did that last weekend.
Yeah,
actually, like this week, Tuesday. Like I came downstairs to do something. took all my morning notifications, and then like my routine was interrupted. I
Yeah.
had to go back upstairs for something. I came back down and started my routine again. So like literally and the only reason I realized I'd done it was because I opened the fridge to grab the can of drink. And we're like, once I've taken it, I like have half a can and put it on the top shelf.
Muscle memory.
And I came back and like there's half a can on the top shelf. I'm like, oh shit! Like I think I've just doubled up.
So I've had a few times where I'm like, I'm pretty sure I took it, but I can't remember, so I'm just not going to take it because I don't want.
Yeah.
But then, see, the medication I'm on now it's good, but it's bad at the same time because if I miss it, I don't feel anything.
Terrible.
I don't feel sick.
There's no negatives.
Yeah. Obviously, without taking it for a few days, that's when I start. Yeah. But whereas when I was on the Seroquel or therapy, if I miss one dose, it was just like a severe hangover.
Yeah.
And it was just like, I don't even get that bad from alcohol. Just feel sick, just get the shakes, cold sweats. I'm like,
so I'm on dexamphetamine and fluoxetine for antidepressant, and if I miss the antidepressant, it's like a lightning storm in my head. Like, it's not a headache; it's literally like flashes in my brain. Like you can like literally feel like there's a storm in your head. Yeah, and it really can fuck you up. Like, taking too much of it doesn't really have that negative effect, but doubling up on the dexamphetamine, that's a problem. Yeah, I don't think I slept for like 2 days.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Sorry, I'm not making it about me, just sort of saying, like, I understand it, I get it.
Yeah, medication's like...
It's fun, isn't it? Yeah.
So would you describe yourself as somebody that withdraws when things get a little bit tough?
100%.
Yeah, you try and hide from... how do you balance that with the need to stay connected to everybody else?
At times, I'm so weird because I'm so like all over the place with it. So if I'm struggling, sometimes I'll be like, yeah, cool, because I got to work, I'll go to work every day and whatnot, and it's like, oh, yeah, I got to put that mask on for work. And then it's like, I don't want to go home. So I'll constantly be out socializing and going to different things and just avoiding being home at all costs. Even to the point where it's detrimental to myself because it's like, oh, well, I guess you get in the habit from doing it all day, every day, where it's like, oh, well, it's easier to just keep a mask on. Mask the pain, so to speak, and mask the whatever's going on. And then other times I'm like, I'll still get up and go to work, but then it's like, no, I don't want to leave the house.
So what's different about life now that you're sober and actively working on yourself?
Not having avoiding the drinking problem. And I guess dealing with that and getting all that sorted a lot better off mentally and physically from it, obviously. I still have moments where I'm like, I felt better back then.
Yeah. You're very aware of yourself now. You can feel things that are going on. You know what's going on. Like it can be scary when you don't know what the fuck's going on.
And sometimes it's like, I felt better when I was drinking all the time. But you sort of know that's
not good for you.
And you're like, well, it's a false.
Numb was easier.
It's a false happiness, so to speak. Like it's after I gave up drinking at first because we hit COVID as well. We went into the first lockdown like a few months after, and I was still working because I was driving a tow truck at the time, so that I was lucky in that. I was like, fuck, I slept better when I drank every night. I'm better, like, what's going on? Like people say you sleep better when you don't, but like it was, even then, like I was drinking non-alcoholic beers every night. Just to get that taste.
I'm still drinking, kind of, but you're not getting the effects of it.
You feel like.
But even that was, even then, eventually I was like, this is still the same habit. Like I was getting that taste, even though it may not. So eventually I stopped, which.
So you got any personal goals you're working towards, or are you getting excited about some things coming up in the future?
So I'm studying at the moment to become a teacher.
That's right, yeah. We're talking about that.
So I've finished the class or classes themselves finish up in August, and then after that I've just got to do the 100 hours of placement, which is good. Something a bit different.
I can envision like the kids would just idolize you. You got that persona about you. You're big, you're tall, you're not fatty like me. You actually have a lot of presence, and I think that would shine a lot with kids that were having a bit of problems, and that you've been through that type of stuff. I really think that you'll shine in that industry. It's good.
Yeah, cheers. Like I've always been great with kids, especially young ones. It was just a matter of deciding whether I want to go to primary school or high school or secondary school. It's because on the one hand it's like younger kids, hopefully make a positive impact from earlier on. Then at the same time, it's like, well, I know when I was in especially high school, I would probably be more likely to open up and talk to someone that looks like me.
Definitely.
Rather than,
yeah, I think so too. Maybe
like,
a mix of both. But
yeah,
you can't really. That the age group doesn't really work in primary school, does it?
yeah. It's like it's shaved head, beard, piercings, tattoo. It's sort of like
it's about the person, not their parents.
Yeah, that's it. So it's sort of like as a teenager, some of them might be more likely to look at me and go, "Oh,
yeah, I can relate a little bit."
Yeah.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah.
And it's nice to
fun,
lower your guard and let them know that, you know.
So what attracted you to teaching rather than counselling or something like that?
I did think about going into youth work. My biggest thing is with all that is I know that I tend to take
a lot of it on
myself.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it might be, as much as it'd be amazing, it might be not so
detrimental to yourself.
Wouldn't do myself any much good. And I'm sure I'd learn eventually, how to deal with it, all that sort of stuff.
There's a lot of compartmentalization that needs to happen.
Yeah, 100%. And sort of disconnect to an extent from what you've been told, which I can do to an extent while I'm there, but afterwards it's like I'll stay up for nights on end just thinking about stuff. So I did think about that, and surprisingly, I want to go back to school, which I never thought I'd actually say, but it was just.
I have a question I want to ask.
Yeah.
Based on what we just spoke about that I'm not sure you'll want to talk about. So as I said, we can definitely edit it out.
Yeah.
How do you go with working with the organisation you do and separating any of the kids that you've dealt with in that regard?
Oh, it's hard.
Yeah.
I've had times when, obviously when you're dealing with kids, obviously you got a straight face.
Yeah.
Only emotion you really want to display is compassion and happiness.
Yeah.
Like there's been times when dealing with these kids where, I've left. I've been in tears inside my helmet, got home, been in tears every day, not sleeping.
So you do take a fair bit of that on yourself.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Especially if you do have a kid that's been through some stuff and they open up to you.
Yeah.
It's just
you're like,
intense.
I get you, man. Like,
yeah. So a while ago when it happened, I was like, someone noticed I was off and they asked me, and I was like, obviously I couldn't talk about it in detail, but I said, and they were like, well, why don't you just leave? Why don't you just stop doing it? I was like, fuck no.
No, because
they need me.
Yeah.
And the thing is as well, this organisation that I'm part of, like children have been abused, but it's kept me going. Like it's actually saved me at times because I've never been one to find purpose in myself. It's always in doing something.
That drive, that purpose is amazing.
Yeah.
For sure.
Which I've been sort of working on that side of things in regards to purpose for myself and valuing myself.
So, and going back to school's a big investment in yourself, definitely.
And like I was sort of like not really thinking about it much, but then I was talking to my sister and she actually does it. She's a teacher's aide and just general chit chat, like, oh, how's your job going and whatnot, like how's work? And just from her talking about it, I was just like, it just sort of clicked in me and I was like, that's what I need to do. I was like, I need to find something that's rewarding. Like I don't care about money.
No,
the job, it's like, I've never had a good paying job in my life,
as I said, we survive no matter what we do.
And I'm like, it'd be about the same, maybe a bit better paid, but I'm like, it's got purpose and that's what I thrive off of, what I need, that's what I want. Because that purpose is never going to die out, whereas I struggle to stay in a job that I'm not enjoying or passionate about or don't have interest in.
Again, probably not going into the show, but I think you should get in contact with Joe from Complete Health Geelong, because I think what you bring for that the mental malicious side of things would be fucking really good and really rewarding for yourself.
I've seen a little bit of bits and pieces on. He's like,
go and meet him. He's a
honestly, man, like
he's only around the corner from me.
We had Joy in here for an interview, and literally Ambo and I just sat here like fell with more. Like he's that same. So you've got the same traits, that magnetic personality that people are drawn to, and it's he's. How to put it? I get told all the time, like you should get into counselling, and I'm like, because you do it anyway, you might as well get paid for it. And I think that's kind of where my brain's at with that type of stuff. Like I think you could be an asset to him, and what he brings. Definitely,
I see that.
Bring more out of.
I see that 100%. We need to make the two do that in contact.
Well, I haven't met him. I've always wanted to because I've watched.
Oh, he's lovely. He's got a charisma about him. Like even just the other night when I saw him at the Geelong Bike night, he's just got something about him that fucking mate. His persona's like fucking amazing.
Because I'd like to get involved in all that sort of stuff.
I think definitely. Like I know with the organisation you're in, it's. it's a catch-22. Like
Yeah.
Amber and I were like, the whole time we were there, we didn't really get, and it was like, you want to, but you don't, because that means that there's a problem. Like, it was like, there should be more, but like there is more out there. It's just
that's it. When you get
trying
cases,
to get that, trying to get that thing
that's
brought
what's
in.
at everyone.
The presence now with your pet, I think we'll get the word out there more.
Yeah,
I hope so.
Oh, you see it as well when you pull up at a set of lights. Because
people are thumbs out there.
And they'll fucking get on their phone and they'll fucking start looking.
Yeah, like I've had it.
Fucking, what's this?
Like even the first day we had, like, because whenever I pull up a set of lights, lane field to get to the front, I'll look in my mirrors to watch the cars constantly.
Yeah, obviously.
And they start moving forward, and I'll see them before where they're like pointing.
Yeah.
No, the shit go,
yeah.
It's good. Like people see it, and I've had people stop me even before the back patches. Like people stop
and
me
they'd say, "What's that?"
And go, "Oh, what's that? Are you a whitey?" And then they go, "Oh, that's awesome."
Yeah.
Which is good, but it's pain in the ass when you're trying to be quick and you get stuck.
You go to shops,
you don't want to blow people off.
You go to the service station, you got to explain it to everybody.
Hey,
we got servos into an episode. When you go back and listen, Ambo brings up a service station at every fucking.
I make a habit of it. Yeah.
I've made the joke that our first merchandise is going to be like meet you at the server.
I think we should make up a T-shirt. Twist the throttle to the server.
Free pie and sausage roll.
Best conversations are at servers. Yeah, well, we're just going to start wrapping things up. Do you remember your favourite ride and most meaningful trip on the bike?
Favourite one? Just trying to think now.
I know you've gone on a few rides with your crew. You've gone to Adelaide. I know it's a long, boring ride. Is there any?
Yeah, well,
what type of riding do you like the most? Do you like twisties?
I love twisty.
Yeah.
Coastal riding's really nice if it's nice weather.
Yeah.
Country riding. I actually rode over to Adelaide back in...
You're from South Australia, correct?
Yeah, so I go over there all the time to see family and that. I rode over there February.
It's like 8 hours in a car, so that's like 3.5 hours on a bike for you.
Yeah. I actually went, because even when I ride over, like you can easily do it in a day, but I love doing like an overnight trip. So even if I go night before, cuts off 2 hours, throw the swag out, and it's just, I don't find a lake. So on the way there this time, usually I ride straight through down to Ararat, at Ararat. But I was sort of like, you know what? So I had my my course on the Monday, left after that, went down to Mount Gambier, found a camp spot. Turned out that they had turned all that into real estate. So I had to go another one at 10:30 at night riding on those roads. And nobody hit any kangaroos, which I didn't. Almost
Mount
had one hit
Camp's
me,
a beautiful spot as well.
Yeah, and then I went down to Carpenter's Rocks, found a camp spot down there, and then next day was just all coastal.
Beautiful.
It was like 38 degrees, so it was nice.
Beautiful.
Come up through the
sun's out, guns out.
Yeah, so that was probably one of my favourite rides. I've done.
Do you prefer solo riding or pack riding or?
Pack riding, it depends. Like pack riding just takes it out of you so much more.
Yeah, you're
got to watch everyone. And then you can't stop when you want to. Personally, I prefer definitely at the right times. Pack riding's good. If it's longer trips like that, I definitely prefer solo.
Yeah,
just cruising along. Just especially if I'm not doing so well, just get out for a escape a bit.
Yeah,
and
bit of therapy.
Yeah. So, and then the most meaningful rides probably
for the organisation.
Yeah. That's probably the most meaningful.
So, if you could go for one ride with one person, dead or alive, who would it be?
It's a good question. We haven't had that one before.
That is a good question.
Yeah.
I don't even know.
Bob Marley, as long as he had like comms with him, it would be good.
Arnie, nah.
Yeah.
Who's someone you've looked up to in your life? Maybe celebrity, maybe historical figure.
For me, it'd be Evil Knievel. I reckon he'd be fucking cool to talk to.
Probably a dick. What's the old saying? Don't meet your heroes.
Yeah, probably. I don't even know. Like from the motorcycle world, probably. I'd have to be either Seth Enslow or Travis Pastrana.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool.
That'd be fucking cool. I met Seth Enslow once briefly years ago for a signing, and he was a nice guy back then.
The only time I ever saw Seth Enslow was when he did that sand dune jump and fucked himself.
Have you seen it was Krusty magazine? They used to get the DVD.
Yeah.
They had Seth Enslow, The Hard Way, and it was just like basically a documentary on his life, bikes and stuff like that. And they had in there about his face-off surgery he had.
Yeah, from that.
Yeah, when he did a long distance jump.
Yeah,
and then
he jumped off the dunes and
no, this is a different one.
Yeah,
so he actually did like ramp and all that set up, did a long distance jump, overshot the landing, flat landed, come down, snapped the triple clamps, like triple tree.
Jesus Christ.
Broke them and come down and hit,
the
I think it was like his eyebrow or just above his eyebrow on the triple clamp, on the top clamp of the handlebar, and punctured through his skull. And that to peel his whole face down. And
and now he's not so good at math.
So that's peel that down, put a metal plate in the way. Because I reckon he was like breathing out of this hole in his forehead.
Jesus.
Yeah.
I was just like,
That's very graphic. Sorry, graphic warning.
So,
there's plenty of warnings on this show.
But yeah, that's definitely worth watching if you get a chance to watch it.
Yeah, I'll look it up.
So even Travis Pastrana's 199 Lives DVD documentary. That's cool.
Yeah. Trav's done some shit that's...
he's insane.
He's pretty cool. He's on like the YouTube channel I watch, Cletus McFarlane YouTube channel. But I see some of his stuff. He's pretty cool, dude.
Hey, hook us up, Cletus. We're coming. We're coming to YouTube soon.
Yeah, he's insane. Some of the stuff.
He jumped out of a plane with a parachute.
Yeah,
and was holding like a Red Bull can, and he's like, "If I miss the parachute, just keep filming because I'll hit the water with my thumbs up."
Yeah,
it was just like, like that's a complete disregard for your own health and safety.
And even like he's just insane.
Yeah,
he'd be good. He'd be good fun to hang out with on the bikes.
I think so too.
Weekend.
So what's the most important lesson bikes have taught you about your life?
Close your eyes and go for it. If in doubt, throttle out. Probably discipline. Like I said before about, how I always want to get my bike license, get on the road when I was like 17, 18, moved out of home.
Get away.
I'm so glad I didn't get my license back then.
Yeah.
Like straight out, I'm glad I didn't get it till, a bit later because I would have just killed myself.
Yeah. I'm the same. I didn't start riding till I was 33.
Yeah.
And I was not in the right headspace before that point to have gotten my license. Like I would have definitely done something stupid. And
even now it's a struggle at times.
I hate bringing it up all the time, but I actually wonder why I'm still here.
Yeah.
And my little brother went because I was fucking revhead, mate.
Yeah.
How would you? There was this dogleg corner on the way home from work, and I used to fucking try and get around it as fast as I possibly could. And I remember this one day, the back wheel went off the fucking edge of the road, and it fucking slid, and I fucking managed to save it. Don't know how.
Yeah.
I slowed down a little bit after that, but not for long.
A while ago, I was riding out towards Ballarat, and there was, I don't even know what road it was on. It was some back road. I was behind the car, and there was this right at like 90-degree turn.
Yeah.
And I've come beyond this car and I'm like, he's not slowing down much. Should be all right. So I've backed off a little bit more. They've gone around. I've hooked around. I was coming around it. I've come around. I'm like, I can't even see if any car's coming the other way because there's all bushes.
Oh, shit.
So I've gone out a bit wider and it was probably about 3-4 inch drop off the shoulder into gravel and the front wheel's gone in there, but I managed to save it and ride it out. I was just like, this is not going to be good.
Yeah. We've all had that moment where we're like, somebody definitely grabbed the bike and put it back. Like, I'm not a religious man, but there's something out there that's like, I've watched it. I've got a purpose that's not finished yet.
Yeah, so, I've even had it through Adelaide Hills. I was coming up a hill and sort of, as I got to the top, speed sign, suggested speed sign, 40 Ks, 60 K, just fucking do 60 Ks around it.
Yeah.
I didn't realise as I get to the top, just before the corner, it sort of flattened off all of a sudden. So I've come over doing like 7 Ks and just launched it and ended up on the wrong side of the road. That was on my old Fat Bob.
Oh, wow.
I was just like, I'm so lucky no cars were coming. But it definitely, I think it just teaches you your limits.
Yeah.
And teach you that self-discipline. Like,
Yeah.
Well, this one's going to be a really long episode, guys.
That's all right.
We made it to the end.
We're not at the end yet. We got our favourite question.
Oh, well, we have.
Follow my OnlyFans.
Pay me to stop sending it to you.
That's my reverse only.
Yeah.
Hey, so
he picks for $10.
So Meerkat, we like to ask you can ask this week. I normally ask it.
Yeah. So this week we named the show "Twist the Throttle." What does the term "twist the throttle" mean to you?
Just keep moving forward.
Yeah.
When you're not doing so well, you got to. When in doubt, power out. Just keep moving forward and just hang in there.
Yeah.
Essentially, it's you can either go forward or go backwards, and when you pull a wall up behind you, well, motorcycles don't really roll backwards on their own.
Not well.
Not well, anyway. But just keep going forwards.
Beautiful. All right, mate. We covered some very deep and very going to be very
touchy.
I want to thank you for sharing your story. Obviously, it's not a story you've shared openly, and obviously before a couple of years ago, wouldn't have shared at all. So that's not lost on us, and we really do appreciate you taking the time to come and talk to us, mate. So
thank you
very much.
Appreciate you having me on and letting me.
Well, we always say is hopefully if our story reaches one person who we can help find their way out.
They catch a little bit of it and they take the advice and they get a hold of somebody, or they write down a note on a bit of pad and they give it to somebody saying that they're not doing so good.
Yeah, 100%.
And that's what it's all about,
Yeah,
can do that, and we're doing good.
Yeah, and if someone can reach out, like whether it's like even like I've always been like, even talking to a stranger.
Yeah.
Whether it's face to face or online, just fucking let it out. And talking to someone you don't know in person can be so much easier because you're like, I don't know this person.
Exactly. I can walk away and I don't know you.
Yeah. So there's no judgment. They don't know who they're
and even like if you're talking to someone. And
it's the same with the helplines though. The helplines are like that as well. You can call up a helpline. You don't have to tell them who you are. And,
100%.
You can open up and vent.
Yeah. Even like if someone's trying to give you advice when you're trying to talk to them, don't be afraid to go, mate, I don't want advice. I just want you to listen. I just need to let it out.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa as well. We don't give advice. Make sure the person's after advice because otherwise they're not going to listen to advice. You're just wasting your breath, essentially. They might just need to let it out.
No, I agree with that too,
I think that was one of the best conversations Trish and I ever had was like, do you want advice or do you need a vent?
Yeah.
She's like, just need a vent. I'm like, cool.
Yeah.
Like, so I'm like, that bitch. You're like, God, that's horrible. Yeah, no. The whole time I'm like, I can fix this. But that's not what I'm here for. Perfect. I love it.
Oh, well, good on you, Meerkat.
All right.
Cheers.
Thanks, Flo.
Thanks for coming. Thanks, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Bye.
Bye.
Thanks for riding with us today on Twist the Throttle. If you enjoyed the ride, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with your crew. Remember, no matter how tough the road gets, you're never riding alone. Stay safe, stay open, catch you on the next ride. Keep that throttle twisted.